Hey Cavs Nation, Sabres Mafia, Sabres family in general. Week 3 wrapped up with a game against the New Jersey Devils. We will be adding another segment to this wonderful review of the Buffalo Sabres. Week 3 is the standings. As we have 56 games in this schedule, we'll be moving down to 46 games because we just played 10. Might as well start. Where are we in reference to the playoffs? So let's go over some of the wonderful games we witnessed this week. And why I am so hyped, why I'm so excited is we continued our point streak and have in our last 5 games, only losing 1 in overtime, not including what happened on Sunday, which we'll get into in a second. Week 3, Game 1, the Washington Capitals take on the Buffalo Sabres for the 4th time this season. Now, Washington Capitals still have yet to lose a game in overtime, and that is still true to this day, which is Sunday nights. Now, goalies Linus Ullmark did suit up against the Capitals goalie Vitek Vanecek on his rookie campaign. Now, Vanecek would get peppered with 48 shots as the Sabres scored on 3 of those shots, while Ullmark did stop 28 out of his 31 that he faced. Now, stats for note, the Sabres are 3-5 of the power play, only killing off 1 penalty and giving up 2 on the penalty kill. Now, keys for future success, new stat I'll be including into my game reviews of each game, is the 51% off the face-off circle. Now, the future stat for future success does not have to mean it is face-offs. This week, it is face-offs, and I'll discuss that with you in a few minutes here. Now, these goals that were scored in this game, first period, Washington did lead off with their first, as Schultz would get his first of the year. Second period, Buffalo's Colin Miller would tie it up, but then followed only by TJ Oshie, 1 minute and 51 seconds left to break the tie and take the lead. Now, good old Victor Olofsson would score his 3rd of the year. Eichel would get his 7th assist, and that would tie it up. Now, moving on to the 3rd period, Eric Stahl would get a 2nd of the year as they would take the lead, but then watch Nicholas Backstrom score his 4th of the year, 9 minutes and 28 seconds into the 3rd period. We end up watching a hectic overtime leading to a star-studded shootout. Now, Washington was stonewalled by Ullmark as he ended up stopping Carlson, Oshie, and Backstrom. Jack Eichel did score in his shootout, making him 60% on the shootout. Scores in his lone goal with Vanecek stopping Middlestat. No need for a 3rd Sabre as Ullmark stood tall and stopped all 3 of the Washington Capitals. Let's move on to Game 2. The New York Rangers versus Buffalo Sabres, Game 2, Week 3. The Rangers would face off against Linus Ullmark, and the Sabres would take on Alexander Gorgov. I did mention in a prior video that I was going to include goaltenders, and I am including them now for a specific reason. We'll get into that in a moment. The Sabres were all over the Rangers in the first 2 periods, continuing where they left off against the Washington Capitals. In the 3rd, Ullmark would leave the Rangers off the board by stopping all 15 shots that he faced. 2 for 4 on the power play and 0 for 3 on the penalty kill. Again, key stat for the future this week is going to be face-offs. We were outstanding with 70% of face-off victories. Now, goals for the game, first period, Kreider would open the scoring for the Rangers with his 2nd of the year. Dylan Cousins scored his 2nd of the year, tying it for the Sabres in a late push. With 7 seconds left in the period, Andre Miller would score his 1st of the year to take the lead for the Rangers. Now, the 2nd period, Ryder with his 2nd skill goal, 2nd of the year. It would also be followed by the game winner from Captain, my captain, Jack Eichel. I believe that was his 1st of the year. 3rd period, the Sabres were outshot 2-15, but thank you, Mr. Linus Ullmark, for standing tall, coming in clutch to get us the W in regulation. Let's move on to Game 3. Game 3, Week 3, the Buffalo Sabres would finish off their 2-game series with the New York Rangers. Side note, I am a really fan of this series system. We should continue on into the 82-game schedule that we have. But I digress. Now, the Sabres goalie Ullmark would pair off against the Rangers goalie Sheetsterkin. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. I really do apologize for that. I have a long last name too, so I respect the name. Apologize for mispronunciation. Now, a Rangers team that did come out to play as they did carry What they did in the third period is they did outshot the Buffalo Sabres, again, 15-2. They did outshoot the Sabres 25-39 in this game. Now, again, perfect penalty kill, 0 for 3, and only 1 for 4 on the power play. But again, that future success stat is at 53% off the face-off circle. Now, Allmark would steal us a point in this game, as it would have been a tremendous offensive tilt going the Rangers' way. Now, goals in this game. First period, Strome would score his second of the year. First goal of the game, giving the Rangers the lead. Jack Eichel would score his second of the year to tie it up with 22 seconds remaining of the first to seal off what was considered really bad first period. Probably the worst they've played all year. Now, second period, Panarin would get his third of the year, breaking the tie in the game. Going into the third period, the Sabres were being outshot 24-9. Not a plan for future success. However, Sam Reinhart would get the game tied on one of the 15 shots the Sabres put up in the third period. Now, in overtime, we do go as Alexis Lafreniere would put up a goal on a 2-on-1 with Jack Eichel, the lone man back. But again, Linus Ullmark stole the show, stole us 1 point. We need every point we could get at this point. Let's go over to Game 4. The New Jersey Devils would meet the Buffalo Sabres for the Game 1 of the 2-game series starting on Saturday and on Sunday. Wedgwood versus Ullmark, some really good play for both teams. The Sabres 1 for 5 on the power play, but yet again having a strong performance on the penalty kill, 1 for 5, stopping New Jersey from scoring 4 on their 5 power play attempts. Now, the stat I would want to focus on is the future keys for success. That's one we've been talking about the most, which is the face-off dot. They were 61%. Now, goals first period would be goalless, as both goaltenders did shoot out their prospective opponents. Second period, we would see Eric Stahl would get his third of the season to open up the scoring. Then T.Y. Smith would tie the game for the Devils with 1 minute and 25 seconds remaining in the second period. Going on to the third period, you would see the Devils' Johnson score his first of the year. Then Tobias Ryder would score his third of the year to tie it up with good forechecking from Eakin. Now then Victor Olofsson would get his fourth of the year, but then it would be tied up by the Devils' Quokokanen. If you know how to pronounce that correctly, go ahead and put in the comments the correct pronunciation of that last name. I digress. He would score his first of the year and to tie it up to head into some overtime play. We would see some good shifts from both teams, some boring overtime play, but we moved on to the shootout. Now, the Buffalo Sabres would get their first go-ahead goal from Jack Eichel. Again, he scored 60% on the last 15 attempts. That's where Stars make their money. Now, Ullmark would stop all 3 shots faced, and the Sabres would go on to win the game, getting 7 out of the possible 8 points going into Game 5. The New Jersey Devils would face off again against the Buffalo Sabres for the second game in the series on Sunday mid-afternoon. As the Sabres had to rest Ullmark after the 4 games he put in this week, they decided to go with Carter Hutton versus the Devils' Eric Comrie. Now, the Sabres actually continued their power play scoring, hitting 50% of their power play scoring on 2 of their 4 power play attempts. They kept the Devils off the board with a perfect penalty kill, leaving the Devils' power play wanting with a 0-4-3 effort. Again, future stat of this week for future success is going to be that 58% off the face-off dot. Now, the first period, we would see goals from McLeod, with the Devils opening the scoring in the first 20 seconds, catching the Sabres' defense asleep and their goaltender asleep. We'll get into that in a moment. With his second of the year, and then Andres Johnson would score his second goal of the year and the second goal of the Devils for the first period with just 17 seconds left. We'll get into that in a second. The second period would lead off with Curtis Lazar scoring and Ramis Dahlin both scored to tie the game, each coming off a defensive shooting. Lazar's came off a deflection from Rasmus Ristolainen, and Dahlin scored it from the point. Now, Miles would get his 4th of the season to break the tie and give the Devils back the lead with 1 second left in the third period. Hutton, I'm starting to see a trend. I'll get into that in a second. Third period, Rasmus Ristolainen would score his second of the year on a power play, cleaning up the puck in front of the net, and McLeod would score the game winner with his second of the night and third of the year. The Sabres would push back, but ultimately would end up with an empty netter from Miles Woods, his second goal of the game, and his fifth for the year. Now, poor play from this team in the beginning and the end of the first and second periods led to the Devils squeaking out a win, and our point streak would stop at 5 games. And let's kick it off with the players of note section. Let's start off with the stronger gamer section. Nothing to say but Linus Ullmark with 3 out of the 4 wins, 1 overtime loss, played all 4 games with a total of 134 shots faced, 123 shots stopped, letting in only 11 goals in 4 games. Sure, that's not the best goaltending of the year. However, his play in the shootout and his crazy saves, he'd even sprawl off to do a split eagle save during a shootout, which was wonderful to see. Kind of reminds me of Dominic Hasek-esque play. He is the top player of the week, and he is the stronger gamer second. Moving on to players of note, players that are rising. Now, I usually include 3, but I decided to go with the biggest notable player, which is Victor Olofsson. He has a point in each game of the week. In all 5 games, he has a point with 2 goals and 4 assists. His stock is rising. The Sabres need that line to keep flourishing, and they need his play to keep flourishing. Let's move on the list here to players that are dipping, poor play, and trash worthy. Now, Jeff Skinner is back on list for the 3rd time. I did upgrade him from poor play to dipping due to all of his hard work. However, the no-look passes is still a problem, causing some turnovers. Now, I know he is playing well due to forechecking. He's using his speed to help turn plays to make more of a positive effort. He is taking shots, he is trying, but he is making $9 million a year and only has 1 assist over 10 games. That is a problem. I mean, if you look at Cody Eakin, who has 1 assist in 10 games, but holds a whopping 62.31% in a faceoff dot, he ranks 3rd in the NHL with players taking 100 or more faceoffs and only costs $2.5 million. I do like Skinner. I've liked the move. I'm really appreciative that he's on our team. However, he is not worth it, and we may see a buyout happening in his future. Let's move on. Oh wait, we're still on players of note. So Skinner, his value might not be there just because he hasn't found the back of the net. I actually found a trash-worthy player. Now, he's played 1 game this week and ended with a .889 save percentage and 31 out of 35 shots. That's average play from your backup. However, 20 seconds into the first period, a goal. 17 seconds left in the first period, another goal. And the best one, the one that I really think should have went in, is at the end of the second period, 1 second left, off of a rebound, a goal. Now, he could easily put that puck either into the corner or to the other defenseman that was on that play as well. Guy shoots the puck in because there's only a few seconds left. I'm not going to get anything. There's not going to be a rebound. Why would there be a rebound? Oh, wait, there's a rebound on my stick. Oh, wait, it's in the back of the net. Carter Hutton, that was trash. Now, this week, the Sabres took 7 of the 10 points, putting together great showings on the power play, ranking them as 8th. In that week, they did go 9 for 22. They are 8th in the league with 30.8%. And then going from the penalty kill, which is ranked 14th in the National Hockey League, just around 82.6%, mostly due to letting only 3 goals in 17 chances on the power play for the opposing teams. Now, the stat that I've been talking about, keys for future success, is the face-off circle. Now, the Buffalo Sabres rank 3rd in the NHL for this year, 55.9%. Now, if this team keeps playing the way they played this week, we might see that playoff streak end. And the Sabres might come in as a week 4 or a strong 3 in the division. Now, let's look at where we're at in the standings. Now, the Sabres rank 6th due to games played and finishing the week at 10 total points. 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 in overtime. Now, that's for the year. Now, we're making good strides to make the playoffs before the loss to New Jersey Devils. Again, I want to blame Carter Hutton, but I know it's a team effort, so we would have been at 42.2%, but we ended up dropping to 34.8% to make the playoffs. Now, we have some ground to make up with only 46 games remaining. Every game does matter. Now, let's look into the schedule for the week. With only 3 games left to play, the division should catch up in games to give us a better view of where we're at in the division in reference to ranking for a possible playoff push. Now, Tuesday and Thursday, we will play the New York Islanders 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 2nd on NBC Sports Network. And then on February 4th, Thursday, you can see the game on MSG Buffalo or ESPN+. Then we start our 2-game series against the Boston Bruins with a 7:30 start on Saturday. Now, that can be found on MSG Buffalo and ESPN+. Again, that's 7:30 p.m. Hey, Cavs Nation, thank you for watching the review of Week 3 for the Buffalo Sabres. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's hope the Buffalo Sabres keep building on their face-off winning percentage, on their penalty kill, and good goaltending from Linus Ullmark, which I do believe is their new starter. Now, I hope that we get points in all 3 games. I hope we get a clean sweep of the week, which will give us 6 points, giving us up to 16 when we do our Week 4 in review. But most likely we'll split games with the New York Islanders. I believe both games will go into overtime, and we will lose one and take one. Now, we will have a tall task ahead of us with the Boston Bruins, but I believe we can go ahead and take them on, as our goaltender will steal one from the Boston Bruins, which will leave us 2-0-1, giving us a total of 5 points for Week 4, bring us up to 15, and hopefully we move up the standings. Now, as always, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and discuss the Sabres on my stream on Twitch every Wednesday and Saturday. See the link in the description below. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for your weekly update on the Buffalo Sabres. Have a great one. Show some kindness, strengthen your community, and stay safe, Cavs Nation. Oh, and the new one, let's go Buffalo.